Goodbye, Mowich Lake Campground and your dreamy bathrooms.
Yeah, you're gonna be in need of that diaper cream. That is straight butt cheek on snow.
Spray Park, let's go! Thursday, July 9th. Ignore the bloody nose. At least there was toilet paper back at Mowich Lake, so I didn't have to use my own. Oh no, it's dripping. Oh geez. Hold that thought. Okay, I'm back. So I'm gonna take the Spray Park alternate today. I have the line on gut hooks, but it doesn't show me the elevation, so I'm kind of flying blind here. I also have a few pounds of Ashley's stuff just to lighten her load from some pain she's having. Actually, it doesn't feel too bad. We'll see about it on the uphills, but not bad. Okay. I will get going. Okay, if I hike with my chin up, it doesn't drip out the front, and I don't use toilet paper. We're good. So, as I was saying, leaving Mowich Lake, ending point today is Mystic Camp through the Spray Park alternate, which is supposed to be really pretty. Maybe some bears again. I love walking through the forest at 7 a.m. It's so quiet and peaceful. This is what I call a vacation. 18 miles a day. 6,000 feet of elevation gain. Good morning, Mount Rainier. You look beautiful today. No idea.
Oh, you're so beautiful.
Yeah, compliment him. Maybe he won't eat us. You go first. I won't show your mom this video. Just kidding.
Hey, baby. Hi, friend.
That bear don't care.
Can we move along?
He says, no, I live here.
Yeah, I appreciate that, but maybe just relocate for a hot second. Buddy. Hi, buddy. Yeah, you're gonna be in need of that diaper cream. That is straight butt cheek on snow.
Person in front of me had micro spikes on for this. Seems a little excessive.
fun.
Dipped my head in that water source. Gave me a brain freeze. Tried filtering water back there. Mosquitoes are way too bad, getting swarmed. Goodbye, everybody. I've got to go. Ow. Just killed a man. Ow, man. I gotta guess out his head. Pull the trigger now. Hi, friend. Okay, I've officially eaten all my peanut butter and jelly, and my bagels did not get moldy, so I can move on to other better recipes. And my favorite is Spam. How many calories? 230 calories in this brick with some Fritos, bacon bits, and tortillas. Tastes as good as I remember. What's on your menu?
Chicken Alfredo pasta.
Oh man, a good one. Godspeed. See you on the worst climb yet, or after.
Yeah, after.
Yep. Off we go. I will not be recording and walking across this. But here we go again. Not as high, but definitely as long. Okay, I lied. I feel safer now, closer to the end. Definitely bouncy. How cool is that glacier? You can see the water coming out of the bottom of the river here. A lot of water. Gave myself another brain freeze, dunked my head. Gonna feel good up this climb. I don't know what the name of this campsite is. Right here by Carbon River or Carbon Valley Glacier. This campsite overlooks the entire valley. It's really pretty. That answers that. Dick Creek Camp. The waterfall is right next to it, down where I dunked my head, and there's little pools you can sit in. Highly recommend this camp. It's pretty okay. Boy, do I have a story for you. I had to hit the SOS button. Not for me though. I'll update in a bit. First, I want to jump in Mystic Lake. Okay, I have a story to share. I'm currently sitting at Mystic Lake. So after I left Ashley for lunch, it was a huge uphill to get here. I was maybe a third of the way up the hill, up a bunch of switchbacks, and there was a guy sitting on the side of the trail, and because I talk to everyone, I just can't help myself, he was kind of slumped over his pack, and I was like, hey, how are you? And he was like, not so good. And I'm like, well, where are you going? And he said, I don't think anywhere. I think I'm gonna stay right here. And I said, okay, you feel okay? He said, no. And I questioned him some more, and it's not, he was doing the northern loop, I think in like 2 or 3 nights. And he had full canvas pants on. He had a camouflage canvas coat, very heavy gear, and he had a can of chicken sitting next to him. And he said, I don't feel good. And I said, well, do you have any food? And he said, no, I've got chicken. I don't have any carbs. So I gave him most of my bag of candy. He was probably hypoglycemic and not feeling well. I said, do you have water? And he said, I have a little bit. So I gave him some of my water. And I said, so where are you going? And he said, well, I'm supposed to be going to Mystic, but I just want to get out of here. I want to leave. I want to get out as soon as I can. And so I was trying to think, how's the best way to get him out of here? And the only way out is Sunrise, which is minimum 13 miles. And I said, well, I've got my Garmin. I can hit SOS. And he said, yeah, hit SOS. I had never done that, so I was a little scared to hit that, but I did. And so I hit it, and you have to hold the button down for 20 seconds. After 20 seconds, it said like it was notifying them or something, and then it took probably 3 minutes or so until I got a text from the Garmin folks that said they are notifying Mount Rainier, or they asked me what my emergency was, and so I gave him a brief description. I'm with a guy, he's got no food, he's out of energy, he's hypoglycemic, yada yada. And so it took a while for all of that to happen. Then they said, okay, we'll get you in contact with Mount Rainier Services. So in the meantime, that took, probably 10 more minutes to get a hold of them. At this point, he was sitting up and he felt better. I had given him some ibuprofen. He said his hip really hurt. He didn't think he could walk. My Garmin's ringing now. We devised a plan that I would carry his gear. He and I didn't talk with the ranger. He and I devised a plan that I would carry his gear, and then if we could get him to Mystic Lake, or Mystic Campsite, which was 3.5 miles uphill, I could feed him dinner, he could rest, and maybe have energy for the morning. So he did have paracord. He had a really old, not an old, but a really big Coleman sleeping bag. He had a really big thermarest sleeping pad, and then he had a big, I think it was probably a 1-person tent, but it was not light. It was probably about 5 pounds. He also had a full shovel. It was a big metal one that the top of it folded down. So, hi! So I put that on the side of my pack and strapped he had a huge DSLR camera. I put the DSLR camera on top of my pack, wrapped in his coat with the sleeping pad there, and sorry, there's guys walking by and they're staring at me. They're like, who is she talking to? So I put the sleeping pad with the camera wrapped in his coat with the tent on the back, and I strapped that over using my Y strap. and I put the shovel on the side of my pack, and I took his Coleman sleeping bag and I used paracord that he had and strung it through and strapped it to the bottom of my pack. And so I think all of that probably added 20 pounds at least to my pack. It was very heavy. But he was not walking fast, so I didn't have to walk fast. At that point, Mount Rainier Ranger Station contacted me. I told them my plan, which was that I would Sherpa his gear to Mystic Lake, and they would send or to Mystic campsite, sorry. And then they would send a ranger to Mystic campsite. I hear more people. They probably think I'm crazy around here. They would send a ranger to Mystic Camp and take over from there. So we got to the top of the hill here, which was about 950 feet, 1,000 feet per mile the last little bit. It was an absolute crawl. The poor man had to deal with me talking to him, I think. I haven't spoken to anyone in like 3 miles. I was talking to him a lot. But yeah, we came over the hill here, of course, and then we were on the downside, and I think we were point 0.1, 0.2 from the lake, and that's when the ranger met us. And then I said to the ranger, I'm really, really sorry. Like, I know we're like 0.4 from the campsite, but I've been dreaming of swimming in Mystic Lake all day. Do you mind if I give you his gear? I felt bad. I was like, this is totally selfish of me. But I really want to jump in the lake. And the ranger's like, oh, okay, I'll take his gear. So I unloaded all of his really heavy gear. Yeah, this guy, he was young. He was early 20s. Didn't sound like he had much camping, backpacking experience. He had very heavy gear. He had an old Rab pack. It was not an external maybe it was an external frame. It was big. And all he brought with him was canned chicken. He had a big, heavy metal water bottle. Yeah, overall, just really inexperienced. And it was interesting how once I hit SOS, almost sooner than what the ranger contacted me, well, it's not my Garmin, it's my cousin's Garmin. It started blowing up with text messages. So the first text that came through was Paul. Paul's gonna see this video. So Paul's text message came to me first. You hit SOS, are you okay? And then my husband texted me, you hit SOS, are you okay? Well, as soon as I hit SOS, I did text my husband to tell him like, hey, I'm hitting SOS. It's not for me, I'm fine. The mosquitoes. I'm fine. But it seemed like text messages were coming in quicker than what my Garmin would send it, because we were like deep down in a ravine. It was just after that glacier that you'll probably see before this. I think that's all of the story. I just wanted to speak it out quickly before I forget all of the details. I'm sure I forgot some, but it's time for a swim now. And unfortunately, I probably have to wear clothes because there's people at the other end of the lake. It's probably the ranger and the dude whose stuff I just carried for 3 miles. Yeah, swimming time! Okay, take a look at this lake. This swim is going to feel better than I expected. My dress is living its best life. Sunshine will sterilize it, right? Look at this sweat on it. So after we got to our campsite, after swimming in the lake, Ashley and I, the ranger who I met up with, who came to get the gentleman that I had helped, he came over and checked our permit. And he's like, hey, if you want, you can come up and hang out at our cabin tonight. It's a great sunset view. So I brought my hot chocolate up, and Ashley was drinking her drink, and we're just hanging out on the porch talking to the ranger for hour and a half or so, listening to the rumble of the mountain. It was really neat. Talked about all kinds of stuff, but what a great experience. But it's 9:30 or so now. I think that's the latest I have stayed up yet. So we are walking from the cabin back down to our campsite. And it's gotta be at least half a mile walk. I can't believe we walked half a mile up the hill here to go to the cabin, but it was totally worth it. He was such a sweet man. Talked about all kinds of stuff. And apparently, as soon as the ranger grabbed the gentleman from me and I was sitting down at the lake, there was a bull elk across the lake that I missed. So I'm gonna have to look back at my video talking earlier because perhaps it's in the background there. But really bummed to have missed the bull elk. Hiking with Ashley be like so much food. Just wants to brush your teeth, and this is the situation.
I used to keep it in my first aid kit, but these smell so obnoxious that I was like, I can't have this in my tent.
All right, so don't put that in your tent. Noted. I brought twinkly lights, but haven't used them because we always go to bed before dark. But tonight we stayed up late. Wow.